Oh, it's got to be the Palestinians. They're the skinniest people in the world. I saw a kid today that had starved to death in Palestine, and he was so thin, Taylor.
Dude, like Twitter is just like, hey, we noticed that you've been liking hockey highlights. Here's a dead child. It's like, oh, this is a lot of dead kids for
that kid shouldn't have voted for Hamas. You get what this is what he had coming for him.
Well, I mean, yeah, a little bit. Like it's not about getting him; it's about winning the war. Though I'm full on board with just winning the war. I don't want to. That's the United States has done this pussyfooting around for my entire lifetime with these little wars we got in, and we didn't win any of them really. And Israel's like gonna win a war. By the time this is over, the question will be: do you think Israel won the war? Oh yeah, like no one questions that.
Usually in a war, there's two armies.
Sometimes, I mean, they're still killing the army, man. And when they blew up that tent the other day, there was two leaders of Hamas in the
sometimes tent. 2, even upwards of 5% of the deaths are military people.
on those charitable.
That's high. I mean, it depends how you calculate military people. When we bombed Tokyo, it was like, there's workshops sort of mixed in with all the people.
Tokyo
they didn't have that
is
centralized.
The shining example of America being assholes. It's not the benchmark to hold people to.
Being assholes?
You don't think so? Oh, wait.
No.
Tokyo, I was really going for Hiroshima when I said that. But
why do you say that? Because Tokyo. So there were more people killed in the Tokyo bombing raids than in Hiroshima or Nagasaki.
I just
they burned them alive.
You talk about indiscriminately killing anyone who's in the wrong place at the wrong time. Hiroshima is a good example.
Yeah, but what they did in Tokyo is worse than indiscriminately. They planned for weeks waiting on the weather patterns to be just right to create a firestorm. And they dropped the incendiaries in such a way to create a giant firestorm and burn a huge percentage of Tokyo. Yeah. What did they do? They either took something out of the bombers so they could add more bombs. It's like, we could add 800 more pounds of napalm if you do this.
I'm aware of your argument, and I acknowledge the strength of it. And intellectually, I'll even concede. But something emotionally about dropping a nuclear bomb on a city feels just an extra layer of indiscriminate for me. Again, emotionally.
The calculations were we were going to lose 1 million U.S. servicemen on the invasion of the main Japanese island. And the Russians were coming from the north as well, eventually. So if we didn't end that war, then you were going to end up with South Japan and North Japan was going to be communist. That's what would really happen, and you'd lost 1 million Americans. So I always celebrate when I see that. There's this cartoon where they show the kids like eyeballs turning into liquid in slow motion and stuff, and I'm like,
we all celebrate that. Yeah,
you should have surrendered.
What cartoons are you watching?
It's this Japanese cartoon about the nuclear bombings.
Oh, it's okay. I was
more of an anime.
Like, man, America
normal
was going,
cartoons, Taylor.
Yeah, America was going hard in the paint with their propaganda. If that's the cartoons they were making at the time, look what we're doing to the Japs.
And also, like, their military industrial base was intermixed with. It's not like they had this big factory over here and like, oh yeah, that's the fucking Mitsubishi factory. That's where all the bombers come from, and it's all on the outskirts of the city in its big square building. They had all these workshops like mixed into there weren't districts as much as everything was just sort of mixed together. So there would be a house here, and next to it, there'd be a shop that was making wheels for airplanes. And then next to that, there'd be another house, and then checker patterned everywhere. So they just burnt it all.
To your point, some stuff has a lot of purposes. I watched the airplane show. I can't remember the name of ever. The Way We Were. I don't know. Did he put it out shortly ago? Anyway, they were doing bombs, and they're going after ball bearing factories. And they said, you know what? The war runs on ball bearings. Yeah, so do bicycles and strollers. But I can still acknowledge how you'd call it a military target.
Dude, and the Japanese were going to fight.
The scariest thing to live next to if it's getting blown up. A ball bearing factory? Like, it's just a whole factory claymore. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
That is a problem.
Yeah.
And the Japanese were going to fight woman.
Just another horrible day at the ball bearing factory. How could this get any worse? Oh no.
Did bombs really make that whistle sound? Is that a real thing?
We talked about this. They put whistles on the bombs to scare people.
Probably not like a nuclear bomb.
Remember that.
I imagine that is
Well,
imagine the whistlers being for small.
That one blew up at altitude anyway, so they wouldn't have heard it coming in.
Did Japan hold a grudge for that long at all? I bet they did, but like I feel like they got Tokyo firebombed and they took like 3 days off, and they're like, well, let's rebuild.
Yeah. They got right to rebuilding. It's crazy.
Then America came in with a plan on how to rebuild their economy, and they're like, "Yeah, we trust you. You're pretty good at economics."
They're like, "Oh,
followed it.
You guys are the ones with the bombs. You just
they kind of followed it. They tried to. They almost went communist. I think in the '60s there was a big movement, and that's when you've got that. You've probably seen the video, but maybe not known the whole context of when there's a Japanese man speaking on stage, and some dude runs at him with a. I don't know what the word. It's called like a wazakishi or something. It's the short sword that they carry. You know, the samurai carry two swords. The little one. He runs on stage with the little one and kills the fucking communist speaker on stage live on Japanese television. Everybody was watching, and that kind of put an end to the Japanese Communist Party.
It's like an iconic picture. The commie politician is like, "Ooh, don't stab me." Ooh. And then
the other guy's like, "I'm gonna stab you."
Well, I came here for one purpose. It was to stab your pinko ass.
Pretty much. Yeah. So no, I'm okay with whatever Israel's got to do to win the job, and win the war. But
really?
It's what they need to do.
Tents with families.
That's where the bad guys are. We bomb tents. We bomb caves. We bomb goat herders. We send $1 trillion battle groups.
Worse than the wedding we bombed, and I've heard you guys both disapprove of that repeatedly.
This isn't worse than that. This is different than that. Big time. The wedding the wedding, it was like, we think there's a terrorist.
They like tripled up the number of innocent deaths.
Yeah,
compared to that wedding.
I don't see how you can dislike the wedding part and not see it's pretty
parallel,
similar here.
Oh, I don't see it parallel. And there's a war zone over there. We were like, hey, there's a wedding
war
tomorrow.
Zone. This was the place where
all of us are war zone.
The resettled people had to put up camps because they're homeless now.
Yeah.
Well, why would their military generals be there in that camp? They shouldn't be putting the people in that kind of danger. Don't they know we're going to blow them up?
Is that how you parse?
Are there military generals in that camp?
Which
military generals did they get?
They called them senior Hamas members. This is what they were.
Senior Hamas members. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, sure, yeah. The probably planners.
All right, well, heck, if Israel said there were some senior Hamas leaders mixed into the refugee camp, then I'm sure it's true.
That's what they said last time they blew it up too. They never say, we missed. They're like, we were hoping there wouldn't be so many people in them.
Yeah, a lot of war is PR, and especially on a global stage. And so, like any sort of bomb you drop, you have to, if there's
that's counterproductive, though. It shouldn't be that way. That's not what war is. I think we've forgotten what war is. I mean, I don't know what war is, but I've watched enough TV and read enough books to know what war was. The wars that got fought for all of human history, as long as we've been a thing. And you don't Nancy pants around, and civilians die, and women die, and children get blown up and eaten. Like, it's war. That's why you try to avoid war at all costs. Because when war happens, children get eaten. Like, we're going to burn you alive. We're coming for you with a machine that burns you alive. You really want to do it? Are you sure? You do. We're coming. And now you're burning alive. You're like, oh, they're burning alive. We've got to stop. Why? They'll just regroup. We'll have to burn more of them alive. Burn them alive. Get it over with. Just get it over with. It's a Band-Aid situation. We shouldn't be building a $400 million dock that broke apart in 3 weeks or something like that.
It was a temporary dock. 3 weeks is what the plan was.
An unbelievably temporary dock.
Our estimates,
before it was even finished, it wore out.
Did you see our estimates on how much of our aid was stolen?
No, is it huge?
It was foreign aid being pilfered and stolen. That can't be true.
Our estimate was 90% of it was stolen.
Wow.
Of the stuff they shipped along.
This is 330 to Palestine, I assume, not Israel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm wondering who stole it, because when I imagine Palestine, the news just shows me it's just rubble and starving kids.
Yeah.
But there's got to be some dudes in there with guns and shit, like holding it down. There's hostages still there. There's an apparatus there. They shot rockets at Israel last week. Nobody cares. They shot a bunch of rockets into central Israel last week. I just think they should win the war. I'm tired of us funding the war, but I don't want to drag it on for 8 years, Nancy footing around, or whatever you want to call it. Just do it. Do it.
I mean, they are doing
I don't have a better answer. That's my problem. You know what I want? I want peace. I want a 2-state solution where they all chillax and stop hurting each other.
Yeah.
Okay, we've been talking about that since long before I was born, and that was a long time ago. So my vision.
Hill Dog was talking about this the other day and made more sense than I've ever heard her make in her whole fucking life. Because trust me, she's on my side on this issue. She was like,
I believe you.
She was talking about when Clinton had like Yasser Arafat and everybody at the table, and she listed she was like, they got this much of their land back. Israel was going to give up this much of their land. It was going to be like ran by this, overlooked by that, security guaranteed, money from here, and she like lays out this incredible plan where it's like, ho, the Palestinians won in the 90s and I never heard about it. She's like, and they said no. They refused. They refused. And it's
that was one of the crowning like efforts of Bill Clinton. And I've talked many times before about how some leaders, president, corporation, whatever, are like the smartest guys in the room. They come up with all the answers and sort of are detail oriented, and they make the organization doesn't function well without them, but it functions well with them. And then other people who can be equally effective just delegate, put, all right, you're my guy for this. You're in charge of Middle East.
Administrators.
Bill Clinton was a doer. And dude, he would roll out the maps on the table and street by street decide which ones should go to who and how it should be managed. Bill Clinton was like a wonk involved in the details of that plan, and it just never got put into action.
Can you imagine if we had nothing to do with this Middle Eastern ethnic conflict? Can you just imagine?
Oh, but Taylor, those poor Israelis could never defend themselves. They're helpless. They haven't had the devastating army in the area for 50 or more years.
Certainly not. They haven't been the only people with nukes for 2 generations.
They've been under the thumb of those rock throwers for 80 years now, trying to stop the oppression.
What was it? Was it called is it the 6 Days War or whatever? When like 5 Arab nations invaded them with tanks by land, and the Israelis defended themselves.
I think the 6 Day War was Egypt and Israel, right?
In addition to Egypt, though, there were like multiple Arab nations. The something Heights is where they had that great
Golan Heights.
There you go. Yeah, they had their the Israeli tanks were on. They had the high ground.
So to Kyle's point, primarily Egypt, Syria, and Jordan.
Okay.
3 powerhouses.
I mean, again,
I've heard of Egypt. No, I've heard of
Egypt. You know what? I've heard Egypt is in their heyday right now. Like, it certainly wasn't. Dude, that would suck to be born in a country and be like, I mean, we can look back and be like, America's like, we were at our peak, like right after World War II. Nobody could fucking touch us in anything. Like, imagine being Egyptian right now, and it'd be like, oh, don't come at me 7,000 years ago.
You don't even know.
Before the Romans with their newfangled technologies bullied us and all that, we were a big deal.
And it's spinning completely out of control and on fire. And they're hugging because they're about to die.
I saw a tornado hit one recently.
No, I did not see the one you're talking about. That sounds awful.
Yeah, it is awful.
Were they okay?
No, they died.
They were every bit as good as those Israel refugees or Palestinian refugees.
There was a Hamas soldier in that.
Yes, there was one of them was a Hamas soldier.
Well, we can't confirm he's not.
True.
Yeah,
I don't know if there are any good people over there, Taylor. I'll tell you what. I remember a guy a while back was saying there was good people on both sides, and he got shouted down. Now all of a sudden, good people on both sides over there. I don't know. I saw Nikki Haley signing a bomb.
She did, yeah.
Dude,
what did it say? Finish the job or something? Do you remember what she wrote?
It's just like finish the job. These dirty like ragheads or something. She wrote something awful.
I hate her. She's the fucking worst.
You hate everybody.
Yeah.
What's your favorite politician?
Trump.
He's the guy who came up with finish the job before Nikki Haley did.
Yeah, but Trump's had like a history of like funny comments, entertaining.
You seen his hair? Come on,
he's got good hair. He's losing weight, maybe, or he's gaining weight. And
you see that quote from him where he's like, "People say I remind him of Elvis. People say all the time I look like Elvis."
Did he really?
Yeah.
See, Nikki Haley's never even tangentially approached something that funny in her life.
People say I look like Cher. And when I look in the mirror, I see Cher. She kind of does look like Cher, just a little bit, like ugly Cher. She could be Cher's ugly sister. Cher was fucking hot. Like Cher's.
I think Nikki Haley might have a prettier face than Cher. You think it's crazy?
I think Cher's really
I'm
old.
picturing
neck down. Cher's
fuck
hot.
you. Cher's old now. Cher's 100.
No, I was
talking
meaning
about
she's older than Nikki Haley, right?
She's ancient. It's shocking she's still alive. I'm talking about Cher from Sonny and Cher when she would wear those titty shirts, when she would be like barely dressed on nightly television, dancing and singing and looking hot as fuck. I think she's half Native American or something like that. I also like when she's got her flat ass in that G-string on that one video where she's on the aircraft carrier or the battleship, I think. If I could turn back time.
I mean, Cher was a cutie back then.
They've got an enemy problem, and so we give them bombs, and I wouldn't be signing the bomb. That's a little gauche. But like I know why they're shooting the bombs. I know why they're shooting the rockets. And like, look, the stuff I don't like is when you're just killing civilians on purpose. And I see that sometimes. They'll like sniper fire, like literally just like snipe a civilian. It's like, whoa, the fuck? He was doing his laundry.
Dude, that happens all the time.
I think those are rare isolated incidents by outsiders who are later punished. And I don't know why you would think or say anything different, sir.
Yeah, all these damn AI videos that are being released all the time.
You joke, but like maybe I could be fooled by like, some of the footage I see is so grainy and shit that it's like this could be anything.
I could be every weather event. I'm fooled.
Every
time there's a giant hurricane. They show me some picture from 16 years ago and say, look what Hurricane Diddly Doo just did. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, that's like in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know.
They seem to be, going a bit over the line over there.
I don't know. But like, what do you, I disagree. I think
what do I do? Stay out.
They get all
out of it. It's not our business.
They need to go in there and then you get all them bad people, round them up.
That's both sides, all of them.
Yeah, it's not a Marvel movie. It's not like there's like a bunch of guys with scary hats on over there where it's like we're just getting the scary hat guys.
They literally, they're literally that. It's Iron Man 3. This is Iron Man 3.
No, you cannot let Iron Man 3 inform your opinion on geopolitics. Please, I beg of you.
This is 100% Iron Man 3. That's what it's a scenario here. And you've got to go in there and you got to clean those.
Iron Man 3 this summer. Tony
it's
gets
not Iron Man. It's war because you got both sides who think they're right, who have an argument to be made. It's a confusing situation.
One side's defending itself, from all sorts of evil, and the other side is
Israel. Which one is that one?
Israel's defending itself, and the Palestinians put your hands up, dude. What are you doing over there? Get your hands up. Stop. Like, what are you doing, dude? You're getting walloped. Get your hands up. That's or here's option B for anyone who would say anything different. Surrender.
I don't think they're taking prisoners over there.
What are you talking about? They offered a ceasefire. They've been there's a peace agreement. They say no.
How do non-combatants surrender?
Hamas, the leadership of Hamas, who they're negotiating with continuously.
No one's worried about Hamas dying. It's all the innocent people. How do they surrender?
Well, they're going to keep fighting the terrorist organization that's over there until they surrender. And whatever happens. It's not. I blame the terrorists who are using the civilians.
But whatever happens is going to happen, and it would continue to happen if we were entirely disconnected from these world-away conflicts that don't serve our interests.
Now who's got a problem with geopolitics? All right. Do you really want the Ruskies to slide in there and be Israel's friend and arm them and move their missiles into that area?
Yes, giving Russian a white elephant to take care of for the rest of their time.
Yeah,
they've got a
drain on.
You want to cause a problem for Russia financially? Make them fund Israel.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, wait! This gets better. We can have them fund both sides.
Putin, we have been doing pretty good with the numbers accounting wise on this war, but we're 6 hours into supporting Israel and we're running low.
Dude, that doc is the worst.
No, it's the weirdest thing. I gave him the money and then he's like, thanks, fuck you, I'm doing what I want. It is the wildest negotiation. I tell you, these people really are good. I left there thanking him. My God. Yeah. I don't want anything to do with the Middle East. It's for the birds.
Nobody wants you to go. Luckily,
I just have to pay for it.
I'd go. Wouldn't
No,
you?
you wouldn't.
Yeah, they want you to go. Aren't you ready?
No.
You wouldn't answer the call.
Go die for the Middle East. Nah.
Die for them. Fight for them. If Uncle Sam comes and he says, "Look, Bibi Netanyahu needs you. He wants you.
Bibi Netanyahu needs me.
Yeah,
Bibi Netanyahu. They need an ex-goalie.
I'll do
it. He says you can be his guy.
I can be his top guy. I'm Bibi's top guy. I disagree so much with what they're doing over there, but Bibi needs me.
They're gonna call you the Golem. That's gonna be your code name.
All right, you're selling me.
Yeah.
Do I get a harem of big titty Israeli fighter bitches?
No, they make you play goalie.
Yeah, you get 3 IDF hoes who they're TikTok hoes.
How many?
3.
How many?
How many do you need, Taylor?
How many?
This is 4 IDF TikTok hoes. That's all we got. All right, we can't go to 5. Don't ask.
All right, maybe I strap some boots on. Maybe I caused some problems.
All right. 4 TikTok hoes and a Palestinian boy we caught last week.
No, you're giving me a financial burden now. No,
you can do anything you want with him.
Like, I don't know, what's he good at?
We just
Taylor, be creative. I don't think you're on the same page here with this young.
You know what? I actually
what would Alexander the Great do?
Give me the best soccer playing boy that the Palestinians have, and then I'll give him all the right training, and I'll have my own fucking Messi. I'll be worth $1 billion when he's an adult.
Some idea so shoot him in the kneecap is right away. Yeah, that won't work. Yeah,
he was coming at me with a scary ball.